She reached the
courtyard, but she wasn't out of the woods just yet. In fact, she was quite literally in them. As we mentioned earlier, Lindsay's school sat on the edge of an expansive evergreen forest. Perhaps this would be the one place she could escape the rampaging monster that just destroyed her school. Lindsay ran through the tree line and into the forest as the giggling and chattering became distant behind her. She ran, tears streaming down her face, until there was a silence that felt closer to safety than any moment since she'd woken up. But it wasn't long until that silence was broken by something just as horrible crackling out over some old speakers. 9, 18, 1, child, 17, remove, vial. Lindsay would recognize that garbled electronic nonsense anywhere. She turned to see it looming over her, easily 40 feet tall. Its flesh was rotten and mottled. Its limbs were impossibly long and thin. Up above, the creature's megaphone head contained sets of filthy teeth that gnawed and gnashed. It was standing right next to her. Naturally, she screamed and started running in the other direction. Siren Head darted through the trees after her, its gnarled fingers stretched out and ready to seize its prey. Lindsay kept running, not knowing what else to do. The only options were hope. And just when she thought it couldn't get any worse, it did. Cartoons, vicious grins and wriggling limbs appeared amongst the trees in front of her. Suddenly, Lindsay was trapped between two of the most terrifying monsters in the Henderson-verse, with no way out. With Siren Head advancing toward her from behind and Cartoon Cat charging in from the front, all she could do was fall to her knees and try to prepare herself for whatever unthinkable fate was coming. Siren Head reached down toward her with its terrible hands ready to strike, but Lindsay never felt its hands upon her. She looked up astonished and saw the wriggling arms of Cartoon Cat stretching out and grabbing Siren Head. It wouldn't be denied the prey that it felt it was rightfully owed, and it was willing to fight for it. Immediately, Siren Head lunged toward Cartoon Cat with startling speed, clawing at its inky flesh. Siren Head was
attack, ninja!
In terms of intelligence and brutal cunning. As Lindsay cowered and watched in horror, Cartoon Cat's arms ensnared Siren Head, stretching and wrapping around its body like tentacles. In response, Siren Head dug its long fingers into the inky membrane of Cartoon Cat's head. The ferocious pseudo-feline never stopped smiling, not once. Even when Siren Head tore off its head and dropped it to the ground, Cartoon Cat's arms went limp and fell away from Siren Head's body as inert as rope. Siren Head shook the last of them off, victorious, and turned its attention to Lindsay. She began backing away, almost frozen in terror, as the creature approached, spitting hateful nonsense from its crackling megaphones. Siren Head could be faster than the human eye could perceive when it wanted to, but when all it had to deal with was one lowly human, it could afford to take its time and savor the fear. Of course, as any animation aficionado will tell you, it takes a little more than a simple decapitation to keep a good cartoon down. While Siren Head was inching toward the terrified Lindsay, Cartoon Cat was rising up and putting its head back on as though it were little more than a hat. Before Siren Head could even realize what was going on, Cartoon Cat leapt onto its back.
Okay, ich hab gelost. Ich weiß, das war scheiße, was habe ich jetzt gemacht? Ich bin gestorben.
It just kept sinking its huge teeth further into the rotted body of Siren Head. It was an unstoppable force going up against an immovable object. Both powerful flesh avatars of even greater cosmic nightmares, each with their own terrifying powers. Cartoon Cat, a malleable, shape-shifting sadist that seems immune to all physical damage. Siren Head, a giant, lightning-fast monster that can make short work of everything from families to military squadrons. They wrestled and brawled in the darkness of the forest, Siren Head's claws digging and Cartoon Cat's teeth carving. The one thing Lindsay knew was that regardless of which of these two titans won, neither result would be good for her. That's why, while the monsters fought, she decided to make a final run for it. She turned and sprinted out of the forest, the sounds of deranged cartoon giggling and violent radio static fading into the distance behind her. Eventually, she managed to escape past the tree line and the now empty school and run back to the center of town. Only there would she be safe though the nightmares of the horror she'd witnessed would stick with her for years to come. Later investigations found the true scope of the tragedy that occurred that day. 400 children disappeared, along with over 60 teachers. No suspects, no witnesses, nothing.
Okay, komm.
Knew the truth.
Komm,
But
wir
who
gehen.
could possibly
Sind die
her
Stärksten.
obsession with the monster dried up after that. Nothing quenches a thirst for horror like encountering the real thing. She never found out what transpired between Cartoon Cat and Siren Head that day. Who won that fight, if either of them did, would remain a mystery. Though there was one factor in all this that Lindsay couldn't quite shake. Longhorse, perhaps the real winner in this whole conflict. It had been him and his warning after all that had saved her life. Check out Siren Head Explained and Cartoon Cat Explained for more information on Trevor Henderson.
Les, feier mit deinen Liebsten.
Ninja! Digga, wir sind neue Ninjas.
One of the United States' most mysterious special operations groups, working under the direct authority of the Joint Special Operations Command. To many, this elite group of soldiers is known only as the unit, the team you send in when nothing else will get the job done. Since their inception in the 1970s, they've been involved in some of the most vital counterinsurgency centuries. But today, some of them were about to embark on a mission like no other. They were going monster hunting. And not just any monster. We're talking about Siren Head, the 40-foot monstrosity created by Canadian horror maestro Trevor Henderson. But these unfortunate soldiers didn't know this quite yet. All they knew was that something evil was lurking in the woods. It was a situation so strange that to many it would feel like pure fiction. But Americans had been disappearing in scores within the dense forestry of the Pacific Northwest. Disappearance is to be expected. The United States is a huge country. People fall off the face all the time.
Okay.
And what's more, whatever was causing these disappearances seemed to be growing bold.
Bitte 10 Likes für dieses Video. Warum ich mir wirklich schmore für jedes Video, warum ich bin nicht so groß, wie du denkst. Oh, nein.
Or the FBI if disappearances could be connected
FBI
across
open
state
up.
lines.
Oh, no.
But given the increase in missing people, various national security agencies began to take a keen interest in the phenomenon. They began to theorize that some kind of woodland cult or insurgency group was behind the over 70 anomalous disappearances that occurred during the last 2 months. And if a group like this was growing in confidence enough to start snatching people from their homes, they could be
FBI open up!
Against a high-value target. Of course, the Pentagon didn't like the idea of dispatching high volumes of military operatives into the forests of the Pacific Northwest. Firstly, such a large mission could alert the insurgents and force them to Secondly, knowing that the military was pouring soldiers into the forest to address mysterious disappearances might cause a state of unwanted public panic. This is where Delta Force came in. We're talking about a special forces group with discretion in their DNA. Most of the group's most critical missions are still a complete mystery to the general public. And this would be no exception. The Joint Special Operations Command authorized 6 Delta Force operatives to conduct a secret reconnaissance mission in the Tahoe Rainforest, located in the Olympic Peninsula in the Pacific Northwest. It was both the largest forest in Washington state and had the highest concentration of recent disappearances. The 6 operators were drawn in from Delta Force's G Squadron. The Sabre Squadron specialized in clandestine operations, and few were more clandestine than a secret counterinsurgency operation hidden right in the heart of the...
Wir haben das gewonnen. Wir sind die stärksten Leute, seht ihr? Wir sind stärker von alle. Wenn wir die stärksten. Wir sind die stärksten, reichsten. Stärksten.
Well, I'm sure that I will probably see you tomorrow, or I meant the other day.
It just seems so rude. Do I barge into your house stream and just start looking through your stuff and commenting on your suspicious to-do lists on your wall? Actually, do you even have a house? I've never seen you in a house.
You have a house, but it's very, very far from here.
Do you are you homeless? Is this like, you just don't want to admit that you don't have a house?
I'm not homeless. I do have a house.
Do you sleep outside, Dream?
I don't even sleep, but I do have a house.
Prove you have a house. Bring me to it.
No, I'm not gonna take you to my house.
Dude, this guy doesn't have a house. He owns the Minecraft. He owns the Minecraft server, and he never built a house. Because all he does is show up ominously on people's streams.
Far away.
Oh yeah, but you wouldn't know my house. It goes to another school. It goes to another school.
I'm leaving. What the hell is wrong?
I'm gonna follow you to your house then.
No, I'm
following you to your house, Dream.
I'm not gonna go to my house. I'm gonna go back to.
That's because you don't have a house, Dream. You're homeless.
I do have
You're
a house.
homeless, Dream.
I have a
That's
house.
why you show up at my house. You wanted to sleep here for the night, but I was logged in.
I showed up to keep an eye on Tommy. That's why I showed your house.
Oh my God! You need to live in the cobblestone tower, Dream. I mean, we have room. If you need a place to sleep, man, I have a bed. I have a bed, man. You can sleep here under like a tree or something.
I have a house. Okay.
Sure thing.
My house is the biggest house on the server.
I believe you, man. Everyone believes you. Everyone believes you.
I swear, though. I promise. I'm not even kidding. It's huge. It's like you use redstone.
I believe you, man. The redstone, the amazing redstone house. That's just never been witnessed before. But trust me, it's real. I believe you.
Well, okay. Yeah, you're right. It's right. Because why would I keep my house secret? Because then nobody can come and pillage it and barge into my house.
I completely believe you, Dream. It's okay, Dream.
We're on the same page.
Yeah, we're on the same page.
You have a house.
You absolutely have a house. It's the hugest house.
Huge.
Nobody's seen a house. Oh, no. Oh, no. Oh, there he is. He's in full netherite. And he has a dirt house with a wood door.
Okay, sehen uns in neuen Video. 10 Likes und subscribe den Video. Und sehen uns!